Bam. I mean, you were probably expecting more to happen, but there you go. We've started. Welcome back, everyone. It's Thursday, April 13th. We are one day after CPI, which came in just below expectations. Um, SPY is uh, fair amount of red throughout the day yesterday and it closed red, but we're back in the green, up 27 basis points. Um, a lot of the memes were down yesterday. Uh, None more than Bed Bath and Beyond as the bankruptcy continues to, make progress. Looks like they're not going to be able to raise that $300 million. They're at 28 cents now. Um, Tupperware is still a garbage company, and you guys are all here, so it's good times. Yesterday, by the way, if you hadn't checked it out, yesterday we had Luce and Hardy come on for almost all of the day. So that video was recorded on YouTube. Actually, I'll post the YouTube link in just a second. So highly recommend you check them out because they had some big brain things to discuss. Um, and yeah, with that being said, let's kick it off. Welcome back, Human Genome, and how's it going?
Thanks, Opinion. It's going well. How's my microphone sound today?
Oh, excellent. I love to hear it.
Thank you. I bought some ATVI shares. I'm expecting the Microsoft merger with ATVI to go through at some point, but instead of playing the options, I just went ahead and got the shares for now. And what else? In anticipation of the Powell's earnings call, I did buy some lottery tickets, 1 penny, 50-cent calls on BBPY. Not expecting much out of that, just had some money to burn, so why not burn it on towels? And then I'm looking at waiting for Litecoin to drop down to the mid 80s range again so I can buy back in and keep swing trading that. And then just have some cash secured, covered calls on Neo. And and just going to keep an eye on SPY today. That's about my plays for today.
Excellent. Really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. I'm not sure if
I'm
Skull.
just
Oh, go
my
ahead.
play for today is just a copy with a minor change to Luce's play. Luce is doing June MTV calls for 140. I'm looking at the same thing, but I like the liquidity on the 135s better. I'm pretty sure I can get a better execution price on 135 relative to the value of the option. So I'm looking at the 135 calls June on MTV. That's Mike Tango Bravo. Again, Mike Tango Bravo.
I'm entertained by all the comments thinking you're talking about MTV. I was going to ask, what did you think about Genome's Litecoin move for trade?
Yeah, Geno's been.
What has Genome been? I guess we'll never know.
Sorry, it's taking me, for some reason, my phone's pretty laggy today. Genome has been trading Litecoin for a couple weeks now, pretty reliably. So I would say that he's got a pretty good read on it, better than I do right now. That's for sure. It's one of those things where when you watch a ticker or a security or an asset or a coin every day, you start to learn the movements of it. And I would say Human Genome is probably in that territory with Litecoin right now, because I've heard him talk about it for multiple weeks now, and so I'm sure he's gotten it down pat.
Well, damn, Genome, that's a high honor from Scald.
If there's a question on it, I'd be happy to venture an answer.
Well, my question, and apologies if you've already answered this in the weeks prior, is, what differentiates Litecoin from any of the other coins? Like, why not trade Bitcoin as some of the other mainstream ones?
Well, so like with Bitcoin, my strategy is to I just accumulate that. I never really sell it until it tops out. Like the last time I sold Bitcoin was when it was up at around 60. And then since then, I've just been DCAing back into it as it's been going up and down. But with Litecoin, for me, it's like a good price point in that $80 to $95 range, and it's been fluctuating between the two pretty reliably over usually within a week I'll get in at like 80, 85, and then the following week I'll sell it at like 90, 95. So it's been fluctuating pretty reliably. So I just get in and out when my indicators tell me to buy, I buy. When they tell me to sell, I sell. And like the price point for me, it's a lot easier to go in with $80 a coin than $30,000 a coin. I got capital. I just don't want to swing around hundreds of thousands of dollars at a time.
Absolutely fair. We got people talking about PPI.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say on Bitcoin. I'm surprised by this rally. Seeing this rally outside of a halving, this is a little unexpected based on the historical price movements of Bitcoin to the last three cycles. So, this is being driven by the macroeconomics of the situation and distrust in fiat currencies. I don't know if this pump will sustain. Time will tell.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like the rise right now is a bit unexpected. I was actually expecting Bitcoin to go down a little bit more rather than up, but yeah, we'll take it.
Time will tell. All right. Well, Ranger McClure is getting very salty, so let's move on from coins. But that was some good discussion.
Well, he can come up here and give us his stock plays. I already gave a stock play today, so he can come up here and give us a stock play. Come on up, Ranger. Raise your hand.
You have been invited. You don't even need to raise people's hands anymore. You can just right-click and invite them. Oh, here he is. All right, let's hear it.
You guys hear me? Test. Not you. Shut up. Not you, my daughter. Test. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. I understand. You want everybody to give plays, and I bitch about it. I would love to give plays. I don't have time to do research to give plays, so I come here. That's why I come here. But this last time I checked, coins aren't on Wall Street, but this is WallStreetBets. So I don't understand what coins have to do with the market.
Actually, the CME
except for coin houses like Coin and whatever other banks manage them.
The CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, offers futures on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's relatively new within the past 2 or 3 years, but I digress. Tell us then about a good play you've made in the past or a bad play.
I haven't had a good play in a few months, so I really have nothing to contribute. I'm here to try to see what people who have time to do research can give out and just get what I can from that. I have minimal time to do research. I'm here to hear other people's plays.
Do you have any ideas?
Okay.
Not recently. What?
I was just saying that's respectable, man. But when you're demanding that people give out plays, you got to keep in mind we all have limited time to do research as well. So.
Well, no, I just didn't want anybody to talk about coins because there was one time where we were like, let's not talk coins, and they're not on Wall Street, and that's my only gripe about it. Like,
I was gonna say, like, you have the stock market, which is like, I consider the main market, right, the main meat of it, but then Forex goes all over the world, crypto goes all over the world. It's just not that different. It's an alternative market, it is, but it's still.
Okay, if we don't want to talk about crypto, does anybody have any plays
Oh,
on
yeah,
MicroStrategy,
I'll-
Bitty, Robinhood, Coinbase, where else? Grayscale. Are there any other crypto-based tickers?
MIGI.
Like, it's relevant. It's very
There's one.
relevant.
I got one. MIGI.
Oh yeah, we could do Mara and Riot. Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think in trying to get away from talking about coins, we have talked about nothing more than just coins again. So, once again, well done.
All right,
Does anyone-
so we can move on. Again, my play for those who just joined was MTB Mike Tango Bravo. This is actually Loose Ventures play. He's in at 140 for June. I'm in at 135 for June. This is a regional bank that has a strong bond portfolio, and they report earnings here soon. Unlike the other regional banks that have weak bond portfolios, they're sitting pretty well. So we think after earnings, they're going to pump. We'll see what happens. Oh, someone's bringing up PayPal. Who's got opinions on PayPal? Anybody?
What was that ticker symbol you were talking about with the bank? What ticker was that?
Yeah, Mike Tango Bravo, MTB. Again, that's Mike Tango Bravo. Looking at 135, has decent liquidity on it for June. And the bid-ask spreads on this thing are large, guys. Getting in at a good execution price is the difference between a profitable trade and a losing trade. So take your time. If you're going to try to get in on this thing, make sure you get in at a good execution price, because the bid-ask spread on this thing can get nasty. So, not advice, just what I'm personally doing.
Okay. If anybody has any more plays, that'd be cool. But I want to talk about the recent news with the Fed economists and what they're saying regarding potential recession later this year. But obviously, if people have plays, that goes first.
I rode Carvana down the other day. Jefferson Hack called that was a day trade and, retrospective. So it's not really helpful to anybody here, but anyone who got in on that, good on you. I'm out of that trade now. I've exited fully. And Hypercharge Networks, thanks for that, Hendricks. I got a pretty nice gain on it. I'm still holding a few shares long just to see what happens when they start getting this sweet Canadian government money. And see what happens there.
Fuck yeah, I'm happy for that. I'm happy for anybody that made money on that plate. God bless y'all.
That was months of due diligence and respect.
Entertainment Low says, can someone talk about ISRG? I've never even heard of that ticker before. Anybody? I don't even know what that is.
That's a healthcare stock. Intuitive Surgical.
Sounds familiar. I feel like it's been discussed prior on these talks. Well, he who mentions it must come up and speak about it.
Oh my God. I remember this stock. This was a stock that my dad told me about a couple months ago, and it's trading at 200 a share. And I was like, what is this boomer garbage? And then it pumped to 270. And I was like, God damn it. Anyway, yeah. I don't know anything more about it other than I missed the play.
I mean, it's been a good stock for a while, for a couple of years actually.
So we do have an IPO today, ticker VCIG. The company is VCI Global Limited. Apparently, they are a consultancy company that has helped with IPOs in the Malaysian stock market.
That sounds like a scam. I'm not going to lie to you. Wait, what do they do? Something in the Malaysian stock market?
They
What?
consult companies preparing for IPOs in the Malaysian stock market. So they're a consultancy company, and for some reason they've decided IPO in Nasdaq.
Real quick, considering we're looking at possibly the next CPI report coming in a little bit hotter, as it's going to reflect what happened in the banking situation, are AGNC, is that back on the menu, do you think? Or do you think we will not see a strong enough move in dollar strength?
Even if CPI comes in a little hot here, I don't know if we're going to get more than a 25-point basis hike just because of the struggle with the banks. So I'd be careful with that one. It's certainly a possibility, right? That they come in and say 50-point basis hike and everybody loses their mind and another bank collapses, right? But I just sort of doubt that they're going to be that aggressive given what's happened.
So you think it's going to have, you think that agency will be more responsive to Fed decisions than the CPI report, basically?
Yeah, I mean, they have heavy exposure to the bonds, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they are. I think that they're going to be more responsive to what the Federal Reserve actually does, because that's when the bond market will actually price in. Right now, they're just going to be speculating, right? But then the bond market's going to actually have to price in that new Fed rate, and then from there, we'll see what happens.
Well, that was my thought, was sort of get in now, you know what I mean? While nothing's priced in, and then sort of anticipate that we're going to get a little bit of a hotter CPI print, and sort of be holding those contracts while it gets priced, while the projected Fed move as a result of the CPI print gets priced in. Sort of buy the news, buy the rumor, sell the news sort of deal, right?
Yeah, you could always hedge with a call on UUP, right? Have you considered that?
UUP, that was the ticker that it was on the tip of my tongue while I was looking into that thesis. But UUP, actually, you're right, yeah, was the one that you guys have been mentioning many times.
Yeah, well, UUP is really it's a dollar tracking, right? So I've had good luck with puts on UUP in the past. I have long dated puts on UUP right now. hoping for a similar downward movement in dollar, right? I don't need the dollar to collapse in value or anything crazy. I just need there to be a little bit of doubt about it at some point in the next calendar year, which I think is probably going to happen for these UUP puts to print.
I like it. Thank you.
The nice thing about UUP is it's so cheap. Because the historical volatility on UUP is so low, you can buy puts long dated for relatively cheap.
Thank you for that.
Good morning. Is anyone picking up calls on FRC? They have an earnings report for 4/24 after hours. Thank you.
But they delayed those reports. They delayed their earnings, right?
That I'm not sure. I seen a notification on my trading app that they're scheduled for 4/24, but I'll have to look into that. If so, would you guys be getting calls or puts on that?
Well, for me, the big red flag is their earnings were supposed to be sooner, then they delayed it to 24. So it just doesn't seem good to me, you know.
For me, the red flag is when the banks tried to show support for FRC during the crisis, they went with deposits that are insured instead of buying stocks that are not, which is a pretty half-assed endorsement and a very safe move by the banks. Seemed more like putting out a fire than suggest. It seemed more like they were just putting out the fire than actually supporting the bank. And to me, a lot of that bullishness around FRC came from that move right there by the bigs.
That's a very good point. Well, I guess it's calls on RE 2024.
So what I don't understand, anybody that's along the banking sector with the recent news of the economists over at the Fed declaring that by the end of the year we're going to see a recession. They call it mild, but still they're using the word recession. Anybody who's long on that banking sector, that, you know, you feel comfortable in that, or you don't think it's going to be that serious?
For me personally, I see it like this: the sector, as it will go sideways or up. Individual banks will get crushed or ripped, but the money gets withdrawn, it gets deposited elsewhere, right? So it's kind of like
money market funds.
It's kind of like whack-a-mole, right? Trying to play the banks, right? They all have the same balance sheets, and at the end of the day, well, to a degree, right? Some are far better positioned and are safe, but the ones that are in trouble look like the ones that are not immediately in trouble, and it's whack-a-mole, right? Because we saw this with the last one, that they all went down at first because there was sector-wide trouble, but then individual ones started bouncing as we figured out that they were safe, right? And they started having these V-shaped recoveries, and the KRE, if you look at it, took the initial hit, then crab walked through the rest of it. And that's like all the regional banks, right? So it's like one was losing deposits, others were gaining, and the sector as a whole sort of crab walked after the initial bearishness. And so I kind of suspect we'll see the same. The worst thing the most dramatic move you might see is a move out of regionals and into bigs. That would be dramatic. But the way to look for that, as the bigs report, a bunch of them report first, is to look for net inflows, and then through the regionals, look for net outflows. That'll sort of give you an idea of what's happening sector-wide.
Yeah, but the money's not just going to other banks. The money's being spread out to other banks and money market funds.
Yeah, I agree. And personally, my tinfoil hat thesis is that's kind of why the markets are sort of propped up right now, and it seems irrational. Is that I feel like people are against best practice using equities as a safe harbor right now.
Yeah, and with your money in a money market, it is possible for them to break the buck. It happened in 07, 08 during the financial crisis. Some of the money markets broke the buck, which for you crypto bros out there, it's like a stable coin depegging, except the stable coin is the US dollar. So basically, the money market fund tries to approximate a $1 to $1 value because it's supposed to be like an equivalent of a savings account. But it is possible during heavy economic turmoil for a money market account at an investment bank to depeg. And I remember this, and people lost their goddamn minds when their dollar was worth 99.8 cents. People just, yeah, it was real bad. Because, I mean, some of these money market accounts are like corporate treasuries, which will have like $100 million in it, right? Then that fraction matters a lot.
Well, more than that, but I get your point, yeah.
Good morning, gang. It's awfully quiet in here.
It's because
Morning,
Marty
everyone.
was waiting on you.
Morning.
Yeah, we've touched on a couple things today so far. Talked a little bit too much about crypto. ISRG was mentioned. What else? Why am I blanking?
Did anyone see the unemployment claims?
Pretty much exactly what was expected, right? What I saw in the numbers.
6K over, so like 3% off. So we'll see to what extent that'll continue. Definitely higher than the last 4 months. So this may be the uptick we're looking for to have April unemployment rate be higher than expected when it's reported in May.
There are a lot of plays in the comments. There's a lot of people asking about specific tickers that I've not heard of. I'm just trying to go through them, but I'm also driving, so it's probably not very safe.
About Dole to the moon.
Dole to the moon? I don't know. It sounded
I'm
like you
still
were just
sitting on my 1,000 shares of Dole. I'm a big fan, and I love that dividend. All about it.
Damn. Well, that's a beautiful graph, Scott. Alexander brought up GFAI. Still climbing. In for 1 hour and have 10-12% gains. Yeah, just repeat that every hour and you'll be in a good spot, Decibel. Netflix leading the mega caps in pre-market up 3%. Is that on news of their layoffs? Which companies? Oh yeah, Netflix is up 3%. I'm pretty sure it's on news of layoffs. I'm curious what tech companies haven't laid off anyone yet. I think everyone in FANG has, now that Netflix has done layoffs. You guys are bearish on Netflix? If anything, Netflix is one of the few tech companies that's actually generating cash today.
Someone brought up SLV. It's a silvers ETF. It was up 1.5% yesterday. Let's see what it's doing in pre-market. It is currently up about almost 1.5% pre-market. Currently trading pre-market at 23.75.
So for those on YouTube, Twitch can't hear us. Also, hello, Mike Conch. Looks like Discord lost all audio. So that's great. Not a technical issue on the streaming side, it's on the YouTube side. So hang tight, bear with me until I can figure out what the heck happened.
Opinion, what did you do? What did you do?
Opinion, what happened? Did you click the wrong button? Oh,
You know
that's
what it
Discord?
is. No, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's because the Bruins broke the all-time NHL record and took it from the Canadians, and that's just unacceptable. Now Opinion's taking it out passive aggressively on everyone.
There's probably veterans on that team also.
Oh no, I'm cut. All right, well, I'm glad sound is back. Let's get the bot in here. Where is everyone? We lost like so many people.
They're starting to filter back in. And I think they're just like, what the heck happened? And then like, oh, here's the talk.
Yeah, it took
No,
a
I'm pretty
minute
sure
for
they're
the
still
silence.
talking and they don't realize that they're off the chat. They're just talking into the void.
All right, there's the music. I almost feel like Hardy was the harbinger of that. He's like, oh, why is everyone so quiet? And then we got even more quiet. So you know.
He prognosticated. So, possible long-term value play from Loose AGCO Agco. I ran the numbers that suffered from him, and I confirm it could be a good one. Very slow moving.
Hey, Rad, any idea exactly how many Canadians are actually on the Boston Bruins?
No, I don't have an active Canadian counter going, but probably a lot.
Yeah. You didn't take shit.
Oh, I'm not saying I took anything. I was just explaining why Opinion was upset. Talk to him. He doesn't understand the math.
Okay.
Just changing the title to something much more accurate than just hello. Bruins? I don't know. Look, I just watch puck go fast. Good time. Market's opening soon. We got 23 minutes. Honey Badger, if you still can't hear anything, try disconnecting and reconnecting. But should be working for everyone. Any last-ish minutes, please?
There are 6 Canadians on the Bruins.
I mean, at what point can you just take over a team?
Is there a VTF that we can invest in?
What was that?
We're talking about all these Canadian hockey players and that. So I'm like, is there a Canadian hockey player ETF?
No, I don't think they're allowed in the exchange.
So I think I see where my confusion has come in. So when I said it was taken from the Canadians, I mean the Montreal Canadiens, the hockey team, not from Canada itself proper. So sorry if I upset all our Canadian brethren. I was referring to a specific team.
Oh no.
They all hate Quebec.
They're not actually Canadians. They're Quebecois.
Careful.
no one
I'm pretty sure
claims them.
Opinion is Quebecois.
Then, with all due respect, Opinion is exactly what I'm talking about, and further, where I'm coming from.
Hey, I'm not Quebecois. Please watch your profanity. But also, it seems like you guys are more interested in the hockey side of Canada than like our economic data. I bring up our economic data, and people are just like, why? Our interest rate hikes, our unemployment numbers, and bring up hockey, and the lights go on.
Who's bullish on the CPI?
Opinion. I don't mean this in a mean way. I think who makes the Stanley Cup probably has more of an impact on the market than the Canadian economy. And I don't mean that in a mean way.
All right, well, I'm just going to say that's very hurtful, but we can agree to disagree and move on. I'll cry later about it. All right, glad to see some people are getting the audio all set up and working. Do we want to give them some plays to listen to until, market open in 20 minutes? There's a lot of people chatting and saying interesting things. Fewer people talking about it up here. Very interesting dynamic. Millennials hate phone calls. It's true. All right, I'll just start reading off a couple of things that have been posted. Leapin talking about trends in inflation and PPI. So the current PPI suggests that headline inflation prints below 3% already in May, and inflation is eventually going to be heading, going to be gone.
Yeah, but that's bearish though, right? CPI going down is bearish. I don't understand why some people think it's bullish, or somebody can educate me on it.
Why would it be bearish? We're gonna get to more stable inflation rates.
What did I miss? It looked like there was some sort of festivities in the chat. Step away for a moment. Come back. All quiet on the Western Front. What's going on?
Well, I was gonna say if CPI is going down, that means demand is going down.
Or supply.
If demand goes down, then that affects earnings on retail, right?
Well, yeah, but I think we all know. I mean, the Fed has.
Apparently, everyone's saying there was an issue. I had an issue last night. I had a dream that I accidentally took physical delivery of an oil futures contract, and then I had to explain to my wife that we were going to have thousands of gallons of oil delivered to the house. And she was like, "Where are we going to put it?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe in the library." And she was just pissed. Anyway, I digress. If you're trading commodities and you don't know what you're doing, I highly recommend you find out.
Damn, this guy even dreams trading. No, I was gonna say, the Fed is already.
Yeah, I can't hear a single person talking. It's dead silent here, so I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me, Scald? I guess Scald's having audio issues too. Okay,
yeah, I think he just has to reconnect. Yeah, he has to get out of Discord and come back in.
Yeah, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
So yeah, demand destruction by the Fed is already on the table. So now we're just gonna know when it's gonna end, and then when it ends, like that's the question that is uncertain. So when it ends, then we can bring those future cash flows forward. Yeah.
Okay, I think I get your point. But I guess there's two definitions of demand destruction with what the Fed is saying. I guess you mean demand destruction without unemployment going high, right?
Well, it's not ideal, but that's a situation I think the Fed is finding itself in.
No, that is ideal. Demand destruction without unemployment going up. That's the ideal one. But I think the realistic one is demand destruction with unemployment going up.
Yeah, but our job markets are as strong as ever. So when is this sure, we have these headline layoffs, but it kind of still seems like barely a dent. And people correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, unemployment really hasn't slipped that much.
And it goes back to my recent point with the Fed minutes, when Fed economists said the end of this year they're predicting a mild. They used the word mild, but they also used the word recession. I guess it depends what they mean by recession. Does it mean unemployment going up, or they just mean by what you're saying opinion?
Sorry, I spaced out and I missed the last part of your question, or statement, so I lost my track of thought.
Okay, guys, I'm back now. I still can't hear anyone or the WallStreetBets music bot, so I think I might still have the same problem.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me, Scald?
No, if you can't hear one person, it's probably the fact that his audio settings are changed in Discord. Discord's not very wholesome with their
Yeah.
yeah. All right, but yeah, moving on. We've got 15 minutes left, so unfortunate that Scald can't connect. But yeah, let's get some more plays out there. We talked a little bit just now about CPI and unemployment. Earnings this week are kind of sad. Although, how did LVMH do? World's largest company, or one of them, sorry, or one of the world's largest, wealthiest billionaires. Delta this morning, and then some banks tomorrow. Citi, Wells Fargo, PNC, JP Morgan. How could I forget JP Morgan? Sorry, is PNC a bank? Okay, yes, it is. Cool beans.
Yeah, it is.
I'll just add that that's like half the problem of like being here in WallStreetBets. I'm Canadian. I don't know, like, honestly, half these companies. You guys started talking about
Oh,
banks.
you don't know the banks? Yeah.
Like,
Gotcha.
I got 4 banks in my country. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, what's the deal with that? Why does Canada only have like small number of banks?
Just oligopoly type stuff. I mean, same thing that you could argue the U.S. has like only a few main.
But do they offer more services? Do they charge you more compared to the U.S. with fees?
Oh, they definitely charge more, but also I think it's like tech is a big differentiator in banking, and the banks, the big 4 banks, have all like really good tech, and as soon as you leave that, it's a little hit or miss. Like the TD app is pretty top notch. Now, what does this mean for Canadian stability and Canadian trading Canadian banks? Well, there's fewer of them, so it's a little bit more stable. I think the smaller ones, I don't think they're privately traded or publicly traded like the credit unions. And so if we did have any US style bank runs, it'd be kind of a boring story because the US would swoop in, save them, but there would be no like stock market show to watch. Eyes of the Valley. One day Knucklehead will slip and give out a play. Maybe. But all right, with the couple minutes we have left, any other thoughts? Hopefully not something Canadian, something with a market cap larger than small numbers. Scald, can you hear us? No, I'm gonna guess that's a no.
But all my mining companies are Canadian. Whatever shall I speak of?
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, are any of them not scams?
None of them are scams, sir. They're all legitimate, including the ones that sells dildos for exploration. Very legitimate.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, you haven't YOLO'd into that company, Rad.
YOLO'd? I'm a customer. Shares to the moon.
Oh, Scald still having issues. What's on Discord? Other ideas to fix sound? Yeah, I don't know. Come back tomorrow, I guess. All right, multiple people who are reporting that they can't hear. Excellent. I love it when my platform supports me like this. Well, there's always tomorrow for those of you who can hear. I don't know. Maybe we wrap up today a little bit early, give you back more of your day around like 9:45, 10. But for those of you who can hear, I think we might as well give them the courtesy of talking some stocks. Good way to save money. Come back tomorrow. Well, appreciate those of you who can hear. For those who are still having trouble, oops. I'll get you a link. Go check this out. Because we do stream all these on YouTube and Twitch. Other than that, you guys can all just hear me talking on and on. The problem is I don't give plays, so you're gonna get salty like McClure, Ranger McClure, and you'll have no one else to talk to because it'll be just me. Fossil fuel industry. Oh, all right, AK-47. Let's see if they can hear you.
I hear you.
Oh, okay. I mean, sorry. Let's.
My audio speaker or something like that.
McClure, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. The man just wanted plays, like I understand his thought process.
Yeah, where do I find this button to put myself on speaker? It's going through like my head, like my top microphone only. I'm on an iPhone. It's stupid.
You found it. I can hear you.
Well, I can barely hear you. Is the problem?
Oh damn. All right. Well, if you can hear this, tell us your plays.
Well, right now I got a little bit in Canadian natural resources. I'm long-term bullish on oil now. I think they're going to try to edge out as many profits as possible, and I think long-term, even after 2035, when gas cars are banned, oil ain't going anywhere unless they suddenly get planes and boats and trains and all that other stuff suddenly electrified. And I don't think that's going to happen. And the energy grid on top of that, long-term bullish on oil.
That was long-term bearish, right?
No, long-term bullish, sorry.
Long-term bullish. Okay, yeah, no. That's what I thought. And sorry, that's what some other. Sorry, I got some noise on my end, so I hope you're not hearing all that. But yeah, that's what people are talking about in the comments. They're agreeing with you.
Can I just say it is a fun timeline that WallStreetBets is like, you know what I like? Oil and natural gas. That's what we want to talk about. This has been a fun timeline with y'all.
Well, hey, this is like a throwback to pandemic times when commodities were going crazy, and that's all we could talk about for a little while. Talking about, massive supply chain issues and all that jazz.
It feels a little refreshing. I feel like there was a long stint where it was just like, let's talk Tesla and Microsoft.
Well, you should have been around for.
Guys, there's an issue with this up.
Sorry? You should have been around for like a year or two that we were just talking about biotechs. That was something else. Many fortunes made and fortunes lost back in the day. All right, 5 minutes away from open. Are you thinking a swing to red or stay in green?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Orso, we can hear you, but I assume that you can't hear us.
Weird.
Oh man, don't you just love platform issues? Yeah, someone on YouTube was like, we should just switch the talks to YouTube. And I'm a little bit worried because then that means we'll just break YouTube because apparently we break every platform we go to. So I don't know.
To YouTube, we can finally monetize it, and everyone can get a dividend of the WallStreetBets ETF.
I don't think YouTube's monetized. I don't know. I feel like people really do want this WSB ETF. Like they keep talking about it, but the second it comes out, they'll just be like, "This was the dumbest idea I've ever seen." I don't know. Do you guys really want to do WSB ETF?
I mean, what would we even put in it? Would it be like GME, Tesla, and what else?
Well, if these talks are anything to go by, it'd just be like Stellantis and Nintendo.
I think it would just be nothing but short Robinhood.
Nothing but short Robinhood. Not like super short.
There we go.
Like super short dated calls or puts and stuff. It's the ETF the world needs. I don't know. It would swing. Like, how would you even define like what sector it's in? If like 1 year we're talking about biotech, the next we're talking about commodities, and then we're talking about tech, and then we're talking about memes. You know, it's like it'll just swing so rapidly.
Was it? I think it was Scald who suggested making an ETF of just really shitty companies where the premise is in order to join it, you have to be utter shit, and they have to pay us to not be included in the shit ETF. I think that was a Scald original.
Is the ETF like a long ETF or a short ETF? Because I think that's the other thing too. You got to suppress the share price, right? If you're give them an incentive to pay you out.
So I have you saying you're suppressing the share price. I am calling up the CEO of SPY right now. Opinion, you're in trouble.
You can't do that. My dad is CEO of SPY. You know, Shopify. Morning, gentlemen. Assume the gentleman can't hear either.
I just find it really refreshing that for once I'm not the one with the issue.
Oh man, everyone's so refreshed. You guys should all go out and buy lemonade.
The drink or the company?
Definitely the company. Actually, no. That's a terrible idea. The company's down like 90%, 80%. Maybe just the drink then.
Buy the dip.
How do companies like this even exist? Lemonade's revenue last quarter was 88 million and their net income was negative 63 million. They lost almost more money they have than they had in revenue, and that's been actually true like every other quarter this year. Just like losing a ton of money hand over fist. Although I guess technically last quarter was better than any other, but just still like how do you lose so much money in a year and not be valued at zero? I don't. How much cash did you raise? Lemonade, by the way, for those who don't know, is a company that offers like insurance, renter insurance, car insurance, etc. Ticker is LMND, and it's not looking great.
Oh, by the way, opinion, there's no sound.
Sounds
Opinion.
like
I think the call is scuffed. Half of us like don't have sound apparently and stuff.
Oh, good lord. Oh, the crazy thing is, like, even with half of us not having sound, it's like there's still like 300 people in here, which means that 150 of you are just like okay listening in silence. It is like 50%. But yeah, markets are open. First move is a little green. We'll see if that holds, or we go red like we did yesterday.
First move's always fake.
That's what people say when they're coping.
The real market opens 10 a.m.
Listen, opinion. I saw it in the Reddit thread, so the first move is always fake. Also, inflate or a recession canceled, because I saw that in the Reddit thread. So these are all true.
Okay, well these confirm my biases, so I support. I approve. All right, well, having so many people having audio issues kind of entertaining because now, for the first time, I mean, not the first time, but numbers on YouTube are going well. So, kind of funny that that was the end result, but it's too bad that Discord's messing with us.
I just had to disconnect and they started working again. I don't know what's going on with everybody else.
That has not been a reliable solution for people. Discord, it's doing its best, but Discord is made for like 10 people to play World of Warcraft, not for like a 300-person talk. Let's be real.
Thank you, by the way, for the compliments on the YouTube layout. If there's other tickers you'd like to see in that watch list, let me know. All right, RLX. What's that 23 move? What is RLX? Why are you giving me the money face? Well, look, I'm just glad that these technical issues happened today and not yesterday when we had CPI, Hardy, Loose, and all that jazz. It was a much more interesting call that I'm glad we didn't miss out on. All right. VIX is down. SPY looking still flat. I wear it open. Everything else seems pretty stable, pretty normal. The watch list is all slightly green. Nothing too much of note. Bed Bath & Beyond, as of course the exception being red as usual.
Good Weight Watchers, tickers WW. Do you guys know?
Yes, we can. Weight Watchers is going down.
It's going up a second ago.
Going up.
So
okay.
we talked about this yesterday. Their partnering to prescribe a weight loss drug now, along with their whole Weight Watchers program. So yeah, Weight Watchers now deals in drugs, which is good because thankfully their members are not notorious for having addictive tendencies, and nothing bad can come from this.
Look, profit is profit. That's the important thing. Conchsku is asking, does it make sense to enter a double calendar or straddle right before the earnings report? It's a hardy question. You probably want to give them the particular company you're looking at so you can take a look at what the premiums are and if they're too expensive, because it all depends on what the price you pay for them are. So a meme like GameStop would not recommend buying options on just because it's too expensive almost all the time.
So if you had calls last GameStop earnings, you were rolling in cash.
Yeah, but it's like if you bought calls every week up until then, you would have been way in the red. But yeah,
it just happened to hit an event where they were finally cash flow positive for a little bit. So it was. I'm not gonna say luck because that's very unfair to the people who made money on it, but that was a moment that we knew would be very bullish, and that moment happened. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's fair. We saw prices we hadn't seen a month prior for a whole month or so. Sell GME Strangles and AMC June $3 cash secured puts as per Eyes of the Valley. Yeah, it's a total bear. I get it. Healthcare sector is not that hot. So I think the
is this the quietest market
no.
open?
George can't hear us either.
There's like a sound problem.
But yeah, sorry, tell me more about this Weight Watchers Wegovy thing. Like, how are they, what's the mechanism for them, selling these drugs?
So, here's the best information here's what we talked about yesterday for what I could pay attention to. There's a diabetes drug that apparently makes you lose a lot of weight that a lot of people are trying to get on. It's an injection, but it makes you lose a lot of weight. They've partnered with some company that can prescribe that diabetes drug. However, if you don't have diabetes, you can't get a full dosage. You can only get a partial dosage. You have to be actually diagnosed diabetic to get a full dosage, but that's what Weight Watchers is doing now. Is they're giving out partial dosages through another company to people who want to get on this drug. I know I've heard people outside of this Weight Watchers thing actually talk about this particular diabetic medication, and that apparently you just lose a ton of weight, and it's almost like a weight loss thing that just happens to work for diabetes. So we'll see what happens with it.
Interesting. Although, I mean,
if it's Ozempic that they're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So basically, if you look at the side effects, this thing, you take this drug, and you're going to shit and puke your brains out, and that's how you lose weight. It's not. I see this as being short-term bullish, long-term bearish. I think there's going to be lawsuits out of this too. I mean, basically, I think that what happens is the effects of the drug make you so sick that your body.
And we lost him. But yeah, I kind of agree too. I think that it feels like there's some regulatory.
There will be long-term there will be lawsuits.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, I mean, even for Weight Watchers, I don't know if they're going to be able to escape kind of scathing of how, seems like they're playing a role in letting people bypass what's really right, for them. So if someone gets hurt on this drug, like, could feel like it could blow back to Weight Watchers for pushing it, if how you've described it or presented it is accurate.
Maybe we should just call it like Weight Watchers presents the crystal method.
I see what she did there.
So something we talked about yesterday on this topic, and something to consider with Weight Watchers. A lot of people nowadays, probably for a long time, but especially nowadays, they want quick weight loss results, right? So people do like Atkins or keto or whatever, right? They do like some drastic thing where they cut some food source out of their life, and then you drop like 15 pounds in a month, and then you go from there, right? Weight Watchers doesn't do that. Weight Watchers has always been a lifestyle adjustment system. They have like their little point booklet where it's like keep under X amount of points, but their thing has always been like, you're not gonna lose 15 pounds in a month, but we're gonna teach you how to like lose 15 pounds and then never regain 15 pounds. It's a much slower, like long-term style. But anyway, this is kind of my long story short way of saying, by kind of bringing in Ozantic, they're now pulling in that, hey, here's the quick weight loss that everybody wants, but you're going to want to do that with us because we'll actually like teach you how to not get fat again, versus the other systems where it's like, yeah, like, cool, you lost a ton on keto, but if you stop keto, you're just going to get it all back. So I feel like that's the gap they're trying to fill here.
That doesn't seem like it'd be a sustainable profit model.
So do you think we'll see like a big spike in registrations for Weight Watchers?
I know there's a lot of people who want to get on Ozantic for weight loss purposes, and if that pushes them towards Weight Watchers, then there'll probably be a lot of signups. I don't know if they'll stay long. Weight Watchers is very designed to like have you stay long. It's almost like AA, but it's not fair to call it AA, but in the sense that like they're not looking for you to be there and just drop weight. They try to push the notion of like, this is a family, this is long term. You're going to come in like once a week for the rest of your life to talk about your weight like journey, right? So they're trying to convince people to be there forever.
So it's not just like you subscribe and get your meal cards with the points and you follow it and lose weight, and then after you've learned like healthy habits, you stop. It's a like perpetual subscription.
Yeah, it's peer pressure in a good way. They have meetings just like AA and A, and this drug thing is just trying to get some quick response to get people more excited about staying longer. But I think the big problem is going to be kidneys. I had diabetes. They had me on Ozempic. My kidneys had all kinds of issues, and I didn't have all the shitting and puking like everybody else seems to be talking about. But you definitely get loose for a while when you first go on the medication. But I think the big problem is going to be long-term kidney failure on already fat people.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, my doctor has switched me to one of the pill versions. I don't forget what it's Trenfian or something like that, Jardiance or one of those guys. And so I'll be going on those now at the request of my kidney doctor. So I think Ozempic has some serious issues. I'll tell you what, though, I did lose weight in a hurry, and it took me like 6 months to gain it back after going off it. So they're gonna put these people on Ozempic forever, is what it sounds like, until the kidney fails anyway.
When you were on Ozempic, did you have to like cut sugar out completely?
Did I have to what?
Did you have to like restrict sugar completely when you were on it?
No, you don't want it. Like, you don't have to restrict it because your body doesn't want it. I actually had to set alarms on my phone to make sure that I went to lunch at work and to eat dinner, because I literally had no hunger. So I was eating so much less just because the drug killed that part of your brain that says, "Hey, dude, you need to eat." So I would get to the point where I would be like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, I didn't eat lunch or dinner," and I'm 300 pounds, dude. That's a 300-pound dude going without food and not giving a shit because of Ozempic.
Is it? Oh, is this Ozempic thing? Is that like this oxen?
I don't remember what it says on the side of the thing. So the attractive thing is it is literally a once a week shot. So diabetics that had to be shooting themselves all the time and blood testing and stuff, when you're on Ozempic and once you level out after the first 2,
I think the chemical name for this oxen is like pseudo methamphetamine or no dextromethamphetamine. Like it's speed, but it's an appetite suppressant. Like, is that what this is?
Hey, long time lurker. I've been up here once. I'm a pharmacist, though. If people have questions about like Mounjaro, Wegovy, and for anyone saying that it's like a stimulant, you're fucking wrong. So please stop doing that.
Oh yeah, my bad. I just looked it up. It's not similar to that at all.
No, it's all good. It's more people in the comments were saying that they're more dangerous than stimulants, which they're not.
I mean, I'm reading their warnings right now. It says thyroid cancer, gallbladder problems, kidney failure.
Yeah, you can die from Tylenol too, and obesity. Are you saying losing weight in an obese patient is a bad thing?
Oh, if there was a pill bottle that caused obesity, what do you think the warnings would
There are
be?
quite a few meds that cause obesity. A lot of old antipsychotics cause obesity.
No, I mean one that I'm trying to make the point. What do you think the risks for being obese are compared to
Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, death in general.
I mean, basically, with Ozempic, you're replacing one problem and you're potentially creating 3 or 4 other ones. You're going to get thin, but you're going to be sick. Your kidneys are going to fail. You're going to have thyroid problems. You're going to have gallbladder problems. I'm pretty sure that's one of the indications. So unless you want to rewrite the indications for the drug or one of the side effects, unless you want to contact the FDA and give them your thesis on it, I think I would follow what's on there right now, and it says that kidney failure is one of the potential issues.
From the kidneys. It's not technically a kidney. The mechanism of the drug has nothing to do with the kidneys.
Are these Ozempic or Wegovy or any others publicly traded? Just out of curiosity.
So Ozempic is owned by Novo Nordisk.
Part of the problem with a lot of these pharmaceutical plays is like, sure, there might be a drug and you might know for certainty that it's going to blow up or collapse, but part of the problem is these drug companies are so large, they have drugs in so many other places that even if this one drug does collapse, the price is only going to be impacted by a couple percentage points. So do you think that's maybe true for Ozempic, or is there like a play here, or is there a pure play company somewhere nearby?
So in regard to like Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, players like that, I wouldn't view Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, any of these weight loss meds as being a big enough player to move their market cap in a significant way. Not really. However, with Weight Watchers, I can see stuff going on there more, but that's more because it would increase access to the med, which at this point is hard just to get in stock at like the retail level.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah, like it's not like investing in Novo Nordisk or Eli Lilly. Like you'll see movements like you saw with Lilly when they capped insulin costs at $35. It took a hit, or when they announced, or when Twitter blew one out and they put out the fake tweet, it took a massive hit. Like things like that would massively change the landscape. You'll see it affect the market, but with one drug per company, you're not going to really see a massive impact, especially with the supply chain issues kind of bottlenecking like further acceptance of the med.
Well, if you have one company that's focusing just on that one, not even just that single drug with a single indication, then I think it can really, make or break it.
Like if there was one company coming out with one med and that one med was their moneymaker, absolutely. But all of Novo Nordisk has so many other injectables that they're working on that Ozempic doesn't even, like, even with it getting more acceptance and more use off label for weight loss rather than diabetes, you're not seeing much impact, like money cost wise. Though there are more and more ads for Ozempic, like just out and around, which is.
I was thinking, just in terms of Weight Watchers, like, putting all their eggs in one basket.
Am I on? Can people hear me?
I heard you. Drop a knowledge bomb. Educate us.
Hey, yeah. I may or may not work in healthcare, and all of this is for entertainment purposes only. But I'm on one of these drugs. I'm on Mounjaro, which is that's LLY, Eli Lilly. But yeah, these drugs, they're not stimulants, they're injectables.
Oh, hey, you got up here too. Good.
Yeah. There is some stuff with thyroid cancer. That's like the big black box warning that they worry about with like Wegovy. I didn't want to start this shit, but I didn't have to. But I will say, just from peeking around at the little research I looked at, it looks like the thyroid cancer is only in rats, and they did animal trials in chimps, and it didn't show that happen. And they have different GLP-1 receptors. Rats have totally different GLP-1 receptors, and chimps are a lot closer to us. So, other big warning is pancreatitis. Don't drink alcohol. And you'll probably reduce that. Someone mentioned metformin. Metformin's also associated with pancreatitis pretty heavily. So as far as side effects go, I'm on it. I'm on the lowest dose of Mounjaro. I've lost 20 pounds, close to 25 pounds in a month. I took it pretty seriously, so I'm working out constantly, eating right and drinking a gallon of water a day. I'm on forums, and these people having side effects with these drugs are literally just like, they're not used to regulating their bodies, so they have or they're used to being regulated by their cravings. So they've got they're drinking no water. Literally, you're having kidney problems because you probably didn't, you didn't have any appetite while on the medication. You didn't remember to drink water. So that's the big thing I'm seeing with these medications.
I'm sorry, did you say you were on it for diabetic purposes or for specifically weight loss purposes?
I'm on it for weight loss purposes. It's not approved for that, so I'm having to pay out of pocket. Costs a pretty penny. Mounjaro is not yet approved by the FDA. They're trying to fast track it with weight loss. Ozempic and Wegovy are approved for weight loss.
You said you worked in healthcare. The Mounjaro, would that have any counterindications with high doses of methadone?
With high doses of methadone, I'm not familiar with any interaction. No.
They would not.
But yeah, I think these drugs are a total game changer as far as weight loss. So yeah, I'm very, very bullish on Weight Watchers, and I think Eli Lilly will do very well as soon as once they get FDA approved. But like you said, I'm not sure exactly how much that'll affect their total bottom line. I will say also, as far as people talking about like shitting your brains out and stuff, these people like not taking it appropriately, and they're trying to, like, I'm paying out of pocket through my doctor. A lot of these people are going to like compounding pharmacies and stuff, so they're getting, who knows what dose. And yeah, you've got to start at the lowest dose with these things and ease yourself into it.
Pharmacy-wise, we can't compound injectables like that. Like no one would be getting an injectable, or not compounded wise.
There's been some strange stuff they've been doing with some of these things. That's what I've been hearing. I've been going to like some pharmacies that have been able to make that more and more generic. But yeah, a lot of people aren't taking the appropriate dose. They're starting too high, or they're just advancing to the point where they get sick. Like I said, I'm on the lowest dose. I'm very easily able to control my cravings and appetite. So. As far as taking the drug forever, I saw someone ask that in the comments. They are saying that they're thinking a lot of these people are going to need maintenance weight loss doses, and I can see that being a thing. Most of these drugs you take as injectables, subcutaneous weekly. I think once you get down to your desired weight, if you're going to do a maintenance dose, I imagine they'd be able to spread that out and reduce the doses a little bit. But that's what they're saying. And some people they're suggesting you have severe problems controlling your weight. They'll take it a maintenance dose. I'll say that's what it works. It's pretty expensive, so it's going to require some. However, they're going to make that play. I am taking a walk around my neighborhood, so I apologize. It's a very nice day out, and there are lots of bluebirds and blue jays around me. You're not having heavy sex if you're morbidly obese. And if you are having heavy sex, you probably shouldn't. Yeah, I live in a nice neighborhood. What about it? I will say, for everyone talking about the drug is a total game changer as far as weight loss, because I've known obviously for years what I need to do to lose weight. But you have emotional eating and cravings and stuff like that. Since I started on this medication, I go home at night. I don't have like that fight with myself every night to let's go to Taco Bell. You're able to like think and put your energy into other things you should be doing, and it's like I said, it's pretty freaking amazing. Most of these people having problems, just drink fucking water, you retards. But we can't say that in our healthcare system.
You could tell him, drink water, you special needs person.
Yeah, everybody talking about the kidney damage thing. The gentleman that was talking earlier, I'd like to ask him if he was monitoring his water intake, because from all the studies I've been seeing, this stuff is being used to treat diabetics with kidney disease. It's actually preferred on the algorithm for treating diabetes to give these drugs to people with renal disease. So, like I said, the problem I think that with the kidney disease in this drug, or the kidney injury in this drug, is just people who aren't monitoring their water intake. And for anyone who has any experience with treating inpatient diabetics, they hate water and they love diet soda.
I must live in an area with a lot of diabetics because Walmart freaking sells out of Diet Dr. Pepper as soon as we get it.
Diet Dr. Pepper is delicious. But like I said, you got to drink fucking water, my guy. I've seen so many patients come in with like kidney injuries, and you just offer them some fluid. And they're like, "Yeah, bring me a Diet Pepsi."
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so I saw a couple of comments that people like the InPhase. So I posted a couple of companies. The same guy that helped guide InPhase is involved in another like little solar company and a silicon battery company. He's buying a bunch of stocks back in those, and he's pretty good at guiding these clean tech companies. So you might want to check out those two. Probably some multi-baggers there.
I love Enphase. I think their earnings are coming up on the 25th.
Yeah, their earnings are coming up the 25th. They will technically trend upwards. They usually beat significantly and so forth. So it's a buy on any dips below 200, at least for options trading through earnings. Yeah, it looks like Enphase is still pumping today. We're at 203.
All right, folks. Sorry, I stepped away there for a brief second. Oh, looks like Bed Bath and Beyond just hit. It's now down another 7.5%, approaching 25 cents. I just can't stop watching it. Like it's like the roller coaster that you know is about to crash into a wall, but I just can't stop looking. Maybe you guys feel the same way. Maybe that's just your portfolio I'm describing. It's train wreck in motion. But everything else seems green.
Do they have earnings or something, or are they just dumping?
Now they're just on a slow roll to bankruptcy. I think a lot of people are waking up and realizing that, oh, maybe Ryan Cohen isn't going to buy them, and the person on the internet that told me he was lying. Yeah, I mean, I guess Eyes of the Valley, like, yeah, it's like that GIF where the truck is like about to hit the bollard but never does. Like, it's like that, but we know that it will eventually hit the bollard, and you know, maybe
It's
not.
just like the Titanic trying to avoid the iceberg. It's just not going to happen. It is a foregone conclusion.
Yep, that's the GIF, Eyes. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but there's plenty of other stuff to like talk about and watch. So I added MTB to our meme watch list on the YouTube and Twitch. Nice to see some of you heading over there. Humble servant, I see you. Nice to see you popping in. But yeah, you know. Not sure, did any of you guys keep up with the Gen 3 Reddit digital collectibles stuff? TLDR is a bunch of bots came in, bought the top, you know, collections, flipped it for like, I don't know, like a 4 or 5, maybe like 3 or 4x. But other than that, I mean, things seem to be like at or slightly below the price that they were originally sold for. So doesn't seem like it was a great launch for many collectors. I know we're not like a huge NFT community and barely even a very crypto community, but I figure this is Reddit stuff, so, and it's a place where you could maybe have made some money, but yeah.
Are you saying we should have sold?
I don't know. In my experience, usually like selling right away those NFT avatars has been the move. But then again, you look at the biggest wins, and that's for people who held for a long time from Gen 1, right? When nobody had ever heard of these things. So there's tremendous value in being early, and that's true for not just NFTs, but for everything, I think, in life. Question is, you know, what is happening right now that we can be early on? A lot of people would say AI, but it sounds like the barrier for that is high, and we might be quickly approaching, you know, the max capacity of what we can immediately do without, you know, significant further research. But there's a whole bunch of companies that are trying to do more foundational work, like OpenAI, Cohere, and Anthropic, I think, and they've all got billion-dollar valuations. So yeah, just a question of where you want to be on that spectrum and if you think it's going to continue blowing up. Also, big congrats to 901 Funk PL for selling April 14th ENPH covered calls at $210 strike price. Mr. Job about to sell his as well. You guys made out quite well with all that. Good job. Feel like dropping any numbers, 901 or Java? Dockle saying that, oh wow, Java's up 63%, or Mr. Java's up 63% on his ENPH calls. Well done. Dockle, Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's get you up here. Let's get you talking about that. But let me just address Stocko real quick on MSFD and OpenAI and Nvidia pump feeling like it's reaching some kind of peak. Maybe. I think Nvidia is going to be a little bit surprised at how quickly some of these models become, runnable at home. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was another recent really big breakthrough on image generation where, to keep things, simple, before you would have like this adversarial process where every single image that got generated, I mean, you'd create like 1,000 roughly steps and then compare them against each other and so on. And now you can get that down to like 1 or 2%. And a lot of people were saying like it's nothing short of magic. And that's cool and interesting, but the impact is that you're going to need a lot less processing power. And so I wonder how much NVIDIA is really going to benefit from this AI pump. Like, no doubt they'll benefit, but is it as large as people are expecting? Are they going to need to have the latest GPU at home to do anything, or can they just run it like 5 seconds longer and get the same result with typical consumer grade equipment or stuff that's a couple years old? Yeah.
Actually, so directly to that, I mean, this is my whole point with like if we're playing AI, like to instead of playing it directly, play it like how this can be used. With what you said to me, that makes me even more bullish on Matterport, which who could turn around and take this AI and this processing power. I mean, think if we're now taking this processing power and squeezing it down 1,000-fold, that's going to make 3D imaging a area and bringing the real world into a virtual world so much easier and so much faster. And Matterport is literally poised to do that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. Sorry, I'm just still kind of like processing it.
I have long calls, super long calls on Matterport. I picked up $1 calls at the price of $1.80. The current price of Matterport, or at least it's been bouncing around 274. So I would literally need to make 60 cents, or I'm sorry, 6 cents or something like that on my call in order to break even. And my calls expire January 2025. I have so they I've basically been picking them up. I checked yesterday, they were at $2. But I know that they go back and forth between about $1.80 and $2. I first started picking them up at $2 because even at $2 it was cheap to me. But at $1.80, like I figured if I could average down some, that's amazing. And I think that there were some analysts who were hesitant, even though the good thing, the most recent news about them is that they moved 50% of their subscriptions are now corporate subscriptions, which I think was like a 31% increase year over year. So that means the corporate subscriptions are less likely to cancel than individual subscriptions. So that's the bullish part. The bearish part is that they didn't foresee, or at least analysts don't foresee, that this upcoming year of 2023, them having a lot of growth. I'm not sure if my social talk was working. You guys hear me on that?
Yeah, sorry. I'm also looking at their financials. Yeah, it looks like last quarter they had like a big revenue bump, but like they're still losing money hand over fist. It's like $800 million 800 million market cap with like,
Yes, but year over year they've increased, so they're losing less money year over year, which is why I played so far ahead.
do they have enough runway to survive? I haven't looked at, like their balance sheet yet, but do they have enough runway to survive, or are they going to need to dilute?
I think it would be more of a buying situation. I think that if they get with how successful they are, I mean, if you think about it, everyone or the majority of people that use 3D imaging for those 3D tours for their homes and stuff like that, uses Matterport, or the majority of them do. And my other thought, now this is completely hypothetical, is that what if stores started doing this? Let's just use GameStop or Best Buy as a example, in which you did a 3D image of a store, and then when you did your online shopping, you would literally walk into the store by the aisle, and you would see a virtual inventory of what that store had.
Not sure if I'm entirely sold on the vision, but I don't know if they're going to really break out of their real estate niche, but all the more power to you. I mean, like, it's just like those calls are really cheap, so I feel like regardless of what happens, they just need the smallest boost to succeed.
I could also see a buyout happening. Now, this is all speculative. I mean, I think that they're big enough for someone to buy them, or small enough that they will start to succeed and make money hand over fist. Especially leveraging AI to be able to cut down their processing power. And I think that's probably their largest challenge right now. Uh, 901 fun couple, what do you mean by leaps? Yeah, I'm wondering if ENPH also hits 210 today. Ah, word. I did not know there was a term for that. $901 fun couple. My calls are January of 2025. They are the $1 calls, and I was picking them up at anywhere between $1.80 and $2.
Congrats to all the end phase scalpers. I'm thinking of closing my position. I bought some a little bit earlier. Spies at 410. Jeez.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that silence indicates to me that we are at the end of our regular morning show. I guess we'll see you all tomorrow. This conversation will keep open, but the streams will end. So if you want to listen to more, join the Discord, and hopefully it won't bug out on you.
Hey, actually, I have one quick question. While I have a couple people on the stage, does anybody know about the Coke guy in Kramer? I've been out of it for the last couple days. Hey, Georgia, how you doing? All right, thanks for letting me know. I just find it really funny that this guy comes up and starts talking about Coke, and y'all were making fun of me about my Pepsi calls last week, calling them boomer plays.
Wow, well, The only plays that matter are the ones that make money anyways, so I think you're in the clear.
Yeah, no, I was fine. I mean, I made my percent on Pepsi, and I told you I like the volatility of Pepsi better for, you know, a back and forward play than trying to stick with Coke. But okay, no big deal. All right, thanks guys. I really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you, and we'll see you all tomorrow.